the new Minecraft mob votes. They're a bit weird as well. Right, so the most recent one that got dropped was the copper golem, right? And it seemed cool at the start. I was like, oh, a use for copper, because copper is pointless at the moment. And then you realize all they do is just press buttons. They just press buttons. Like, what's the point? Don't get me wrong, you should vote for whatever you want to vote for. I'm not saying that all of these mobs are shit, because genuinely this time with the mob vote, all three of the mobs seem to be like just really decent. They're all three just super cute, like additions. And I wouldn't really care which one gets added to the game. I just think one of the ones is way better than the rest. So it's going to be very opinionated for me. So if I seem harsh, that's the reason. I'm just putting out my really honest opinions, because I think all three of them would be great in the game. And that's really what I want. I want all three of them in the game, not just one. And then the other ones, the Alley, I think it's called, or something, or Alley or some shit. It's pretty decent. I mean, it's just a ghost that goes and collects stuff for you. And then the last one is just a reskinned bat. Oh yeah, they just hide out in the dark where the mobs can spawn. But didn't they make it so the mobs can't really spawn in light anymore anyway? So the only time you'll see this is when you'll see bats. But yeah, I do think the Alley's gonna win. I mean, all three of them do have a chance of winning because they're all kind of decent. But I think the Alley does the most like useful thing, and the only reason that something else might win would be maybe if Dream rigs it. I don't know. And the only thing I can think of Dream rigging it to is either he wants the Alley because it's actually useful and it'd be very good for manhunts, I reckon, or he rigs it to the really pointless glare, which is just a flying bush in the dark. Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't added like copper armor or anything like that yet. It is a bit weird. Kind of like the bush, you do be cute. Maybe cute, but is also pointless. Like all the mobs we've had recently are super pointless. Like the glow squid we could do without. If we get that bush, we could do without. Why aren't they doing it so that you can just get all three of the mobs? I feel like it's so stupid to just limit us to one of the three when they could easily implement all three of them and they don't actually do too much, so it wouldn't be game breaking. It's the same with the last one, like the cow from the last one, the Moo Bloom. They only spawned in certain biomes, which are the flower biomes, so you wouldn't even see them often. They could add them into the game and people wouldn't notice for a good week. I don't get the mob vote stuff. It's cool, but they also should do it so the mobs are like really like just crazy and they do crazy stuff, so that if they added all three in the game, it would actually break the game, so then you're actually voting for something good, rather than two of the mobs doing nothing and they're just kind of there, and one of the mobs actually being slightly useful. Because at that point you could just add them all in and it wouldn't matter. If it breaks the game, sure, but like these mobs are just exist by this point. Yeah, they're just aesthetics. Like they don't even do anything crazy. What I was thinking with the golem would be like they would actually build redstone stuff for you, which I was like, that is crazy. That means the redstone doesn't really have an entry point at that point, but it's just not. Because I was expecting that you'd give the copper golem some items and some like copper, and then you'd like kind of instruct it to start building something in a way with like a menu or something, or that you'd have to give certain materials plus others like with villagers to buy something, and then they'd go build that for you. But they just press buttons. He just presses buttons which are copper, and then after a while they die. They turn into a statue and die. So what's the point? That Vex-like mob sounds OP. The Alley, yeah, I don't think it's overpowered. I think it's just useful, because for things like farms and that, when your inventory's full, you could just give the mob some of the item and then you just go collect it up. And then also they drop it at a note block. If you put hoppers around the note block, they then drop it into a note block, a hopper, and then they go into a chest, and that's just organization done for you. So it literally kind of is a useful thing, but the rest of them just don't do anything. Yeah, same with the last one. They could add the Moo Bloom in and it wouldn't even matter, because you just wouldn't see it often. Like it's spawning in one biome out of what, like 20 to 50 biomes, and this one biome being one of the rarer biomes there is, it just seems like they should just add that in anyway. But yeah, is it just those three? It is. Yeah, they do 3 each time, but usually the 3 have been like kind of crazy. What's the flying bat things that just constantly kill you every time you don't sleep? But when that was like the mob vote, the 3 mobs were like all 3 super annoying. One of them would be if you went too far deep into the ocean, you'd get dragged under deeper and you'd drown, which if that was added into the game, people would hate it. Like phantoms were super annoying as well. All 3 of them mobs were super annoying, but they actually did something. This time, all 3 of the mobs are kind of cute, but also don't really do anything other than one. Make sure to subscribe and follow me on Twitch where we talk about these things live.